Hey guys, it's Kelly with Embroidery Nurse. So I'm excited to share with you some tips and tricks on how to sell on Etsy. I have been on Etsy since October of 2018, and I found just very consistent sales. I think it's so easy to begin. It's not as intimidating as some of the other platforms that you can sell on. And I specifically, of course, sell embroidered goods, monogramming and personalization on clothing and accessories. But the tips and tricks that I'm going to share with you today really could apply to any item, any craft, anything that you are personally selling on Etsy. So let's get into it. I have 10. Some of them have a little breakdown. So just, get your notepad out, and hopefully these will help you be able to scale your business like I've been able to. Okay, so tip 1, Etsy is 100% centered around photos. So you have to make sure that your photography is on point. If there are 15 listings of something that is almost the exact same thing, you're gonna look at the picture that is the best quality. I'm still working on this, guys. I work on this all the time, trying to up my photography game because I'm not a photographer. But some of the ideas that had been taught to me were, using a backdrop and lighting and editing the photos. So, what I will suggest, and I'll put in the links in the show notes, finding an amazing backdrop. I have one right now that looks like I take pictures, on a piece of or wood. And that's done well for me. Some will say use simpler backdrops. Some will use, just white. They'll use light boxes where everything in the background is white. So really it's up to you what your brand wants to showcase. Lighting is huge. You can have an amazing backdrop, but if all the pictures look dark, then it's not going to pop when you have it on Etsy. So, invest in some lighting. I'm going to put a link as well below on the light system that I have. I have the lights that are in umbrella lighting. I'm not even sure what you call it. If you had looked at what I have, you would think that I've spent so much money. But honestly, I got this set for like $50, $60 on Amazon, and it truly, truly upped my game because I was waiting until like the middle of the day when the light was perfect and taking things outside because I had heard natural light was so important. But I don't have time for that. I'm busy. I have to do, my work when my kids aren't here, when they're in school. So I don't always have the exact light, or say it's a rainy day, say it's a rainy week. I wouldn't get the pictures that I wanted if I had to wait for those type of elements to work with me. So a lighting system is huge. I'll link it below. Really, truly invest in this upfront. You don't have to put a lot of money to invest in it, but you will be so thankful that you have in the long run. There are some apps that you can use that can tweak your photos after you take them. I don't suggest doing this, to alter your pictures, but to lighten them or to add some elements to them, certainly it is very beneficial. So I'll put some links to some of those as well. I don't really use those. I use my iPhone to take all my pictures. You don't need an expensive camera. I have one that I used to use, for my kids when we'd go to sporting events so I could kind of zoom in closer, but I haven't used it in forever because, honestly, guys, the phone that you have on your camera or on your phones, the phones that you have on your camera, the camera that you have on your phones these days are just top notch. It's amazing how wonderful the pictures come out just straight from my iPhone. So I don't recommend, investing in any expensive cameras or anything like that. Just use what you have. If you have a nice one, go for it, certainly. But it's not something that you have to invest in up front. You get 10 slots for pictures on Etsy. And so I have a space that in my embroidery business, I take up 5 of those slots for amazing pictures. So you can do different angles. You can do in real life photos where someone, for me, it's clothing where they're actually wearing the item. You can do flat lays. You can do, a folded shirt. You can do a shirt that's completely open so you can see all of the details of like the cuff and the ruffles and the hemline. You choose what works best for you. Be consistent in how you present it so that there is a common theme when you're looking through your pictures of what your customers can expect. On my other 5 pictures, here's what I do. I have a thread color chart so that customers know what thread colors are available. And I've shown those in a few videos, and I'll link that below too. I have a monogram selection chart. I have a font selection chart. I have the size chart. So those 4 things are specific for customers to look on real quick and see what size, what thread color, what monogram, what font. They're right there. They don't have to read in the descriptions because you guys, people don't read those descriptions. They're there, but they're kind of hard to find. They're almost embedded in the listing. You have to click on an arrow to open up the description even further. And you know, I would love to see a percentage of people that actually click on that. I don't think people do. It's good to have the description if you want to have some specifics in there that, you know, are important to your item, but just know that a lot of them aren't read. So to have some of your key details in the pictures, they're going to look at those. I would almost say 100% of the time, if they're looking at your item, they will look at all the photos that you present. So it's a really, really, really important tool to use those and use them to your advantage. The last picture that I used, so the 10th slide in all of my listings, actually has my company or business information. It has where you can actually find me outside of Etsy. Etsy allows you to include that information, and further down in your shop, you actually can list all those things as well. So they do encourage it, even if it does take you off of their platform. But I think it just gives you a broader showcasing of who you are and what you do and what your business represents. So for mine, it links to my website. It also has, it doesn't actually link, but it has the URL for the website. It shows that I'm also on Facebook and lists my Facebook group name, and also Instagram. So those are 3 key ones I have on there. There are other platforms I'm on, but that is the 3 that I list on that last slide. So I will show you a picture of that here so that you can see what mine looks like. So big time, those 10 pictures are going to be huge. I mean, they are just number 1, without doubt, the best way for you to sell your item. So number 2, well, I already talked about them. The thread chart, the monogram chart, the font chart, the size chart. Have all your charts easily accessible to your clients, to your customers. Have them so that you can, it's at a click of a button. You've already included them in your 10 pictures, but maybe they just weren't looking, maybe they didn't scroll. Have them easily accessible, so if they ask you a question, you literally, in the messaging in Etsy, can press a button on your phone and your favorites pictures, send them that quickly. It's important to communicate quickly because people will move on to the next person or the next item available if they don't have the answers they need from you. Third, treat Etsy as your employer, because they are. You guys, when you're on Etsy's platform, they pretty much run the show. Now, you are an independent person that is choosing to sell on Etsy, but ultimately, they are your employer. So treat them as such. If they suggest something, do it. There's so many different forums. People are always annoyed at the different things that Etsy might be throwing out at us as far as, you know, ideas or suggestions, and they might not agree with them. But I have always followed trend. I always followed exactly what they've recommended because I feel like that helps you. Call it brown nosing, call it what you want, but you guys, it works. Do what they recommend. It puts you on the side. I mean, the same thing you would do for your boss at your job that you show up to every day. You know, if they had recommendations, wouldn't you do them? Why would you not? I mean, call it brown nosing, call it whatever you want. But if they recommend something, number 1, they really feel like it's going to be to your advantage, to their advantage, because they're in the business to make money. So if they feel like it's going to be to their advantage, ultimately it's going to be in your advantage as well. So I highly recommend anytime they send out a recommendation, whether it be for like a holiday sale for your shop, just do it. Don't fight it. If you really truly don't feel like it's a good fit for your shop, I get it. I understand. That might be a time where you have to, you know, evaluate each time individually. But my suggestion is any recommendation, any suggestion they give, do it. So that brings me to the point of the subscription that they came out with, where you're Etsy Plus. It's $10 a month. Do it. And let me tell you why. There is no harm in it. $10 is all it is a month. But what you get out of that, ultimately, it's only $2 when you look at the benefits that you receive. And honestly, the benefits you receive even outweigh that $2. So I feel as if you really get 100% of your money, your investment back, as are a lot of things that you invest in. If you upgrade to Plus, it's $10 a month, but you do get 15 listing credits. And so if listing credits are 20 cents, that's $3 right there that you're getting back. So that brings down your $10 investment to really only $7. But then you also get $5 in Etsy ad credits. So there you go. You've got your $3 in your listings. You've got your $5 in Etsy ad credits. So they're giving you straight out the bat $8 back. So your investment is really $2. With that $2 investment, what do you get? Well, you're still getting an ability to stand out from the crowd. You get to feature your listings in your banner in a way that just looks more professional. And I can tell now that I've been Etsy Plus, I can tell, you know, when I go to other shops that are not, I can tell, you know, I can quickly look and see which ones, you know, kind of display better. And I really feel like the people that have invested in the Etsy Plus, their banners display better, their featured listings just look arranged, you know, better and easier on the eye. And I just say it is an absolute no-brainer. So if you've been on the ledge about whether to do Etsy Plus or not, I just highly, highly, highly recommend you investing in that for your business. They also offer some discounts with it. I've not really utilized any of those. They also say it allows you to do restocks for your listings, which that's not something I really do either. But if those do work in your favor, then you've already gotten, you know, that as an addition to the $2 that we ultimately say it costs. Okay, number 4, Etsy ads. You guys, you've always heard you have to spend money to make money. You might not feel like you're in a place where you can invest in yourself with ads, but you can choose whatever amount that works best for you. And I tell you, I just so highly recommend. I saw a huge bump in my sales when I invested in my business, when I invested into ads, when I allowed myself to stand out just a little bit more from the competition. Now, I'm not going to go into much detail with Etsy ads because they are forever changing. And right now they're going through a huge change that I don't even understand all the ins and outs of. They've changed a couple of times, even since I started selling in October of 2018. And right now, they're going through a big change in regards to Etsy advertisement. So I'm not going to go into too much detail with that, but I do highly encourage you to invest in your business when it comes to Etsy ads. It definitely allows you to stand out. It definitely allows your listing to be seen above others in the same exact category. So I just highly recommend it for something for you to do for your business. Number 5, free shipping. Now, free shipping, when I started, so in October 2018, Etsy was promoting free shipping for the holidays. And so I turned on free shipping. Again, I just kind of used my own recommendation of if they're suggesting it, why not? Let me do it. I want to make sure that I'm in good competition or that I'm able to compete with others that are like me, that are selling things like me. And so I turned it on. Well, I never turned it off. I've had free shipping in my shop since I began. Now, I've definitely, as I learned that maybe I wasn't pricing myself or I wasn't pricing myself enough, I did go back and tweak and kind of added in the ability to not lose money on a sale by having free shipping, but it really, truly makes you stand out. So don't give your stuff away for free. If you normally, you know, would spend $24 on an item and it only costs you $3 to ship it, then now sell your item for, you know, $28. People look at free shipping as like, oh, I want that one because they're going to ship it to me for free. And they almost completely overlook the fact that it costs $4 more than the one that they would have had to pay shipping for. People like to have the price up front. I hate clicking on something, not knowing how much it's going to ship to my area, clicking on it because I want it. And then I get to the, you know, the end screen where I actually have to pay. And it's like, Oh, it's going to cost $7 to mail that to me? No thanks. So if you had that price up front, it says no shipping, or I'm sorry, shipping for free, then you know what you're seeing on that listing is exactly what it's going to cost you when you go to check out. So I highly recommend it. And look, Etsy allows you to ship from their platform, and it's lower than if you were to go to the post office. I would suggest you investing in a label printer that you can print off your shipping labels straight from your house. It's so easy. You never have to go to the post office. Love on your postman, your postwoman, and every day I've got the flag up on my mailbox. And, one of my boys every morning, well, that's one of their chores to put all my little pink packages in the mailbox and put that red flag up, and they fight for who gets to go do that. So add that to your kids' chore chart. But it really, truly is, I think, a huge, huge help in sales and bumps you up. Again, Etsy recommends it. They want people to experience the free shipping because they push it. So again, they're my employer. It's their suggestion. I'm going to do it. Now, I am going to make it work for me. I'm going to add it in. They do have some price tools too about how to price it. So look at that and make sure that, again, that you're not losing money by doing free shipping and that it works for you. Now, I do know there's some creatives out there that make like huge wooden signs that, like are very expensive to ship. And that might not be the best fit for them. And I get it. Etsy does suggest doing like free shipping over $35, or I think that's the fee. So some people will do that, and that's a great way to do it. Especially if you have a lot of really small priced items, you might be losing money by doing free shipping if your items are very small. But if someone was to buy 8 of those small items so they can get to the $35 limit, then it is to your, favor. So look into it, but I highly recommend free shipping. All right, number 6, respond immediately to your customers. I can't tell you how quickly I can get a sale if someone sends me a question and I stop what I'm doing, if I'm available, respond. Generally, it takes 2 seconds to respond. And half the time, way more than half the time, like almost 100% of the time, if they've asked me a question and I have responded immediately, in about 1 more minute, you'll hear a cha-ching, cha-ching. Because you've answered that question. They are looking at your item right this minute, but they have a question. You've answered it immediately. They have their question answered. They're so excited that they've spoken with you and they're ready to purchase. What if you wait 24 hours to answer them? They could be long gone. They could have moved on to the next person. The next person could have answered them. They've just lost their thought of buying this item. Sometimes you see things on Etsy that you might not have come there to buy, but you had a question about, you didn't hear the answer back, you've moved on. You don't really want that bag anymore. But if that question had been answered right when they were sent it to you, done. It's a done deal. They've already purchased it and you have a new sale. So I cannot stress how important it is to respond immediately. There is even a section on your Etsy shop where it says, generally replies in, a few hours or whatnot. I can't remember what they've narrowed it down to. But again, so that's something that customers are looking for. There are times where it might not be feasible for you to answer. You might be out of town, but you still have the ability to answer. So just, again, it might not be something you feel good about at all times, but I can't stress enough about how much it will increase sales for you for those people that are asking questions. Some people are looking for that personability with somebody when they're buying something online. They might be a little hesitant. And again, that's when you should have those thread charts, the size charts available quickly on your phone, available in your favorites folder, in your pictures on your phone that you can quickly send to somebody when they ask that question. So if they're questioning whether their child is between a size, 2T or 3T, and they're asking you, guys, I don't know what size your kid wears. I don't, but I can quickly send you this size chart and ask you to look it up with the clothing item that you presently have. And then they're, oh, okay. Because it's not up to me to decide what size best fits your child. Can't do it, won't do it. I will not suggest to you what size. Now, if you're saying you're teetering between 1 or 2, always going to tell you to size up so that your child can wear this beautiful item longer. But I will not pick that size for you. That's for you to do. So having those things quickly is part of responding quickly. Okay, number 7, be honest with errors or delays. I can't tell you how many customers that I have kept around, been repeat customers, when I have been transparent about things that either I have done wrong or that have been delayed. If they just have that feeling that you are invested in them, then they are so willing to come back for more. So if you sell an item, you do that, you make their item. So we're going to use obviously my company, my business, Embroidery. So just recently, I had a lady that purchased a dress. You guys, I did her dress. Something happened on my machine because you know what? Things happen. You know, either user error or machine error, who knows? But something happened and the monogram was just so messed up. I tried to fix it because I love trying to troubleshoot and fix it. I tried to, I took the stitches out and I was going to redo it again. But in the end, it was not something that I felt good about selling. I didn't like the way it looked. And I just knew in the bottom of my heart that I could not send this to a customer the way it looked. But I also knew I didn't have another one of these on hand and it was set to mail out in 2 days. So I had to purchase another dress. Takes 2 days for it to get to me and then allow me time to monogram it, which really I can do, as soon as it arrives and ship it out. So I sent a message to this customer and I did give her the opportunity to, get a full refund based on the fact that it was not going to arrive at the originally scheduled time. Or if she would like me to go ahead and purchase another one and I would send it out priority as soon as it arrived. And she was so thankful that I had reached out to her and she was like, oh, honey, that's what she said. Oh, honey, I am just so excited to receive this dress. Thank you so much for letting me know. No rush. I'll look for it at the end of the week. And so she loved the interaction that we had back and forth. I was honest with her about, my error, and she happily waited for it. Left me a 5-star review saying there was in her review, it even said, Kelly is so wonderful to work with. There was a small hiccup in our order, but she fixed it immediately. And other people love reading reviews like that. They like to know that even if there is a hiccup in our interactions, that I have the ability to work through it and work together with a customer. So, that was just one, one example of how to just be honest when there are errors. Also, if there is, an item that's lost in shipping, I guess ultimately that's not something that, really it goes on to the shipping. You put it in your disclaimers. You say once it's out of, my hands into the world of the United States Postal Service, that it's really, between you and them. But that's not true. If they ordered an item for you, they didn't receive it, make them another one. You follow up with the Postal Service, not them. Don't put that on them, or they're not going to come back to Etsy. They're not going to come back to your shop if they feel like they have a ability to buy something and not receive it. Like, no, not cool, not cool. So just be honest. Treat your customers the way that you would hope to be treated when you, buy things. Also, though, I will tell you, stand up for yourself if someone is just being not right. Now, I always err on the side of the customer until you just can't, right? There only been a handful in the time that I've been selling. But there's times where it's just easier to refund and move on. If there is no way that you're going to be able to satisfy this customer, just refund your money and move on. Either have them, send the item back to you or just be done with it. Just be done with it. Look at it as a business expense, a lesson learned, and just move on. No problems there, guys. Don't stress about it. Don't let it, hurt your feelings. Just move on. It's part of business. Any business that you would, be involved in is going to have some of these hiccups. So no worries. Okay. 8, coupon codes. I think it's just such a great idea to have some already made. They're so simple to make in Etsy. So if someone was like, hey, if I buy 4 of these, is there a possible way I could get a discount? Well, honestly, if you buy 4 of these, woo! I'm excited. I'm only going to have to pay for 1 shipping, not 4. So of course they'll give you a 10% off. I can quickly, like I said, respond immediately. I can quickly on Etsy Messenger, click a button, send them that code for that 10% off. They feel so special. They're going to buy 4, and in a few minutes, cha-ching. So I just think it's really important to go ahead and have those made. They're so quick to set up, but even quicker if you already have it set up, that you can just press a button, send it to them through Etsy Messenger, and that allows them to apply it to their cart. Hopefully they already have those 4 items in the cart. They press sold, done. I just can't stress again how having these things set up in advance are going to help you make those sales quickly when someone asks for any information from you. Number 9, business cards, thank you cards, and just overall branding. I can't tell you how important this is to make you look professional. So I made a shirt. I started a new job working in a pediatric office, and somebody realized that I do embroidery. I kind of kept it on the down low, even though this is really my full-time gig and nursing is my side gig now. I really hadn't even mentioned to them that I do this, but it came out in conversation that I'm the embroidery nurse. Oh, that's you? Yep, that's me. They actually heard the term embroidery nurse already. So that was really cool. They'd heard of my business, and then they realized that I was the actual embroidery nurse that was now working in their office. So that's been kind of fun. But what was really cute was someone had me make a birthday item for them, and I brought it to work and I gave it to them, and they were like, oh, you're like the real deal. And do you know why they said that? Because I had cute packaging. I made sure in the beginning of my business that I looked like a bigger business than I really was from the start. And how do you do that? Have a logo, pick your brand colors. They can be so simple. You can do this on canva.com. It doesn't take long. You choose, what works best for you, and then run with it. So, I made my logo on canva.com. I used a stethoscope. I wrote the word embroidery nurse. I used the colors of gray and pink, and boom, those were my brand colors now. Everything that I've done, from 4 years ago to now is in pink, and I love it. If you look at my microphone here, yep, had to buy pink. I mean, seriously, that's my brand color. I want that to be associated with my brand. So I wanted to show you these awesome thank you cards. I made these on Vistaprint. Love it. This was just a template that I picked, and it just has my logo, which I added, Embroidery Nurse. It says, thank you. It's got my web address, embroiderynurse.com, which presently, since I'm in the process of revamping that, embroiderynurse.com just sends you straight to Etsy, straight to my Etsy page. So it still is working in my favor. It's easier for someone to remember. I don't have to tell them Etsy shop/embroiderynurse.com or go on Etsy and look for me. You just type in embroiderynurse.com and boom, it gets sent. That's another way to look very professional. You can buy a URL or a web address, a domain name, whatever you call it, for like 99 cents a month, or maybe just total, I don't know, very inexpensively. Huge, huge, huge way to look professional. And so that's a small investment that you can make that really benefits you in the end, because you can, again, go ahead and buy that domain name, just shoot it to, or I don't know the right terminology, just direct it to your Etsy shop. And we can talk about how to do that in another video, or you can just Google it or YouTube it or whatever is easier for you to find out how to do that. But just a huge investment in making your business look professional. And then I just have my name on the bottom. So very simple. I include this in all my packages. So let me show you one that I have. I use these cute poly mailers that are, well, these are specifically just for the shirts. So I put the shirt in the package, fold it over, and I put one of my thank yous in it. I put it in here because they have to open this bag up to get the shirt out. I don't want to just stick the thank you card in the poly mailer, because half the time that would get lost, not pulled out. They wouldn't even see it. So I stick it in with my shirt. So I fold my shirt up nice and cute, so the design is the first thing they see on any shirt. And in the back, I stick in my thank you card. So I do that, and then I stick it in my brand color poly mailer. So that is how I ship all my items. And so when I handed this, back to my story there, when I handed this to my coworker, that right there to her looked very professional. And again, she's looking at me as a professional business. I know what I'm doing. This, you know, helps me stand out. You know, I could have just taken her a Harris Teeter bag and given her a shirt in that. I could have, but that doesn't look professional, and that's not going to up your game. So I just highly recommend these. I will link the bags that I use, the poly mailers I use. They're really very inexpensive to really up your game. So the other thing that I've made on Vistaprint, which I recommend having these on hand, is just a simple business card. And so I just made mine very simple. It's got my logo on the top, my name. It says custom embroidery. It has where you can find me through email. I don't link my phone number because don't call me. Y'all, my friends know that. I don't answer the phone. So I have an email because I do want them to have a way to contact me outside of, you know, where we're at one-on-one. I've got my website again on the bottom. And then I also just have the social media icons of Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest, because those are other areas you can look for me. And it just gives them an idea of where else to find me outside of whatever event we're currently at. So these I just keep in my purse. I just have available, or if I do an event, of course, I'll take these with me. And I just think it's a huge way to look professional. And I just think that really ups your game even before you feel like you've got a full-blown business. If you're doing some of these practices, people will really think you're bigger than you really are. And that will gain more followers, you know, when they really realize that you're for real. So that's last. I actually went into packaging. That was my 10th thing. Have nice branded packaging so that people can get excited. So when a customer, you know, a repeat buyer buys from me and that pink package is in their mailbox, it's like, oh, I've got another item from Embroidery Nurse. So to have it consistent where people can recognize you and what you're doing is just fun. So that's my 10th thing, was packaging. And again, I already talked about, you know, you can mail your label, you make your labels, print them out from home, and it just makes it very easy. And I highly suggest doing that. That way you're not standing in lines. You're not having to go to post office. You're not getting frustrated. You're doing it from home. You're making it simple, and you're making your home business work for you. So I will link these 10 items down below. And I hope these suggestions are something that you really take to heart. You know, if they don't all work for you, I get it. You do you, and you do what works best. But these are what have truly helped me scale my embroidery business. At each different thing that I've implemented, I have been able to see, you know, solid results, solid incline of my revenue. And I just hope that you'll, you know, learn and apply these to your businesses as well. So good luck with everything. If you have any specific questions, then certainly leave those in the comments. I will respond to each and every one of them. If you want to make sure you capture videos going forward, please subscribe. You can also hit the notification bell. That way you'll be notified anytime I put out a new video. Hope you'll have a great day.